3, 2, 1...
¿Cuánto oro?
El mayor tesoro que no ha sido encontrado.
¡Sully! ¡Date prisa!
Voy a tardar un poco más de lo que creía.
Yeah, I mean, I was a big fan of the games, and playing the games, again, was a large part of my sort of development of the character and research into the character. He has a very unique physicality, especially in the way that he is when he's airborne, you know, his sort of that sort of flailing arm sort of thing. So, you know, I had a lot of fun designing the action sequences with the stunt guys and my 2 stunt doubles, and then figuring out how he would fight. You know, he is a character that is untrained but very capable, so it was an interesting kind of theme to bring into the action sequences.
Hay lugares por ahí que no aparecen en ningún mapa. Que no han desaparecido. Solo se han perdido.
Yeah, I mean, the game is so cinematic and so compelling that it makes sense to try and tell this story on the big screen, you know. When I sort of looked into who was making it, I found out that they'd been trying to make this film for, you know, nearly 10 years, which only solidified my sort of curiosity into the idea of making this into a film. I'm just lucky that, you know, our wonderful producers and Sony were kind enough to give me the job. So I've been very grateful to them and very excited to finish this story.
De todo lo que hay aquí, ¿por qué el mapa?
Siguiendo esta ruta, Fernando de Magallanes quiso dar la vuelta al mundo.
¿Sabes de historia?
I think that's a great observation. Yeah, you know, our idea was to sort of take influence from those films but not copy those films. Nathan Drake is a very unique character in his own right. You know, so wherever we reference Indiana Jones, we do so in broad daylight. You know, we're not trying to pretend like this isn't a film influenced by those films. So there are subtle nods to the indie movies throughout this film.
Es el mayor tesoro no encontrado.
Unos 5.000 millones. Creo que estás aquí por tu hermano.
¿Conoces a mi hermano Sam?
I mean, it means so much to me, you know. When I was a young kid, I probably wouldn't have imagined that I'd be telling stories like this. And, you know, also coming back to one of my favorite countries, I love it here in Spain. You know, I think Spain is a wonderful place. And you guys are so good at sport. Like, it's amazing to watch, but it's also so annoying. You know, you have John Rahm and Rafa, obviously, with what he just achieved. You know, your football teams, you know, you guys are so good. So it's a pleasure to be here and watch you guys. So I'm a big fan of everything about Spain.
Si encontramos ese oro, lo encontramos a él también.
No, I wouldn't consider myself to be a savior, but it is a huge honor to be part of the film that sort of rebooted the cinema-going experience. You know, to make a film that is so loved by everyone from all different walks of life. You know, it was a nice moment of solidarity between people in a time where we've sort of been forced to be apart. So it's been a wonderful experience.
¿Quién narices es este?
Soy amigo de Sully.
Sully no tiene amigos, lo sé porque soy una de ellos.
I definitely feel the pressure, but, you know, I'm equally as optimistic about the success of this movie. I think people will really enjoy it. You know, the idea of escapism, exploring the world and seeing things you haven't seen before is very fitting for what we're going through right now. You know, traveling has been something that has been seemingly impossible over the last 2 years. So Uncharted is kind of a nice way to be able to do that.
¿Eres coleccionista?
Solo como hobby.
Para mí no es un hobby. Mi familia lleva buscando esta fortuna mucho tiempo. Demasiada sangre.
No, you know, one thing that we did really well is we cast this film with really wonderfully talented people. So for me, you know, working with Mark or Sophia or Tati and of course Antonio was a huge delight and pleasure. So I really enjoyed getting to know them all, working with them, developing our characters and making this movie.
Mi hermano Sam me dejó una última pista.
Yes, of course I would. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was very difficult and a tricky film to make. But, you know, done right, and if we can make the second one better than the first one, then I'm pretty sure that I would be there.